Today we want to go over how we train live blade. We're using just our carry live blades today. They're sharp. And first of all, in live blade training, you should never have an instructor come up to you and say, okay, you're doing live blade today, go off with Joe and do live blade. You should only be doing live blade with somebody that you trust, that you've been working with. And we say it's somebody that's going to feel worse about cutting you than you feel about getting cut. When you first start to do live blade, you want to step back to the very beginning when you first started to learn how to parry and strike. Now there's a couple of ways to train live blade to live blade, and with live blade to live blade, all you can really do is parry and strike. Because I have a live blade in my hand, I really can't arm cut her, and I can't do tactics on her. All we're learning to do is to face that blade and to make a good parry. And she's throwing nice clean strikes at me, and I'm throwing nice clean strikes at her. And although we're going random, so she doesn't know what strikes I'm going to throw, and she has to pick up that flow in flow, pick up that parry in flow. I'm not doing things like, oh, I'm going to go low and then I decide to go high, or I'm not faking on her. My job is to throw a good clean strike at her that she can get used to standing in there against the live blade and make her parries. And at first she'll start slow, and as you get comfortable with your partner, well then maybe you start to pick up the speed and pick up the intensity of what you're doing, and you get used to facing that live blade. And that's how you start. After a while, that'll get kind of boring, because you get used to facing the blade, you get used to making your parries, and you really can't insert any tactics. So the next way you live blade train is live blade to training blade. And this allows the person with the training blade to start to be able to insert their tactics while still getting the confidence of facing a live blade. And this becomes a lot more fun, and you get a lot more out of it. So we would start with flow, and she of course is not doing any tactics, she's just feeding me. But because I've got the training blade, I can get my arm cut, and I can work on inserting my tactics to her. I can work on getting my catches and my strips. And she doesn't have to worry about getting cut, and I can work on making sure I've got the skills that I need to face a live blade. Now, I in no way consider this a knife fight. All this is doing is getting me used to standing in there against somebody that's got a blade, and the confidence that I can make my catches and my timing, and have my timing to do that. I don't consider it a knife fight. But it's the closest thing that we can safely do, so that at least I've stood in and faced a live blade, so that the first time I meet someone that's attacking me with a live blade on the street, I'm not quite as frozen, because I've never stood in against a sharp knife before. Live blade, it's up to you when you want to start to do live blade training. No instructors should decide for you when it's time for you to do that. But until you start to add some live blade into your knife training, and it might be 10 years into your knife training, but until you start to do that, you are a knife practitioner and not a knife fighter. So I recommend that eventually you try to work some live blade into your training. Thank you.